Good morning. I'm posting this first part of this video, the introduction of the video from the truck because it is windy. Currently we're under a high wind warning, high wind advisory. We have winds sustained between 35 and 45 miles an hour with gusts up to 80 miles an hour. I'm not sure if I've ever told you or not, but I live in an area of Wyoming that regularly posts the highest wind speeds in the state. Sometimes we end up with gusts, sustained winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour and gusts up to 105, 110 miles an hour. And it just, that's kind of the nature of the beast out here. We're kind of known for the high winds and that kind of thing. So when we get wind, it gets pretty nasty. Currently, the winds, when I left home, were about 25, 30 miles an hour, which isn't overly terrible, but it's not pleasant to be in any means. It's a reason for that. The beanie this morning, the watch cap, because ball cap or whatever, just take off and end up in the creek, and that's never any fun. It's not all that cold this morning. It's about 45, and this is pretty common for us in this time of year. We're having transitions pretty quickly. We'll get a big cold front in. That wind will come in, blow a big cold front in, blowing all the warm weather out of the basin. And then that cold will kind of set in this basin here until finally we get a good wind up over the mountains. And once it does that, boy, it'll blow all that cold air out and bring in whatever front is coming in, either from, typically we get these from like the West Coast, California, something like that. And you'll get a good warm wind drop over the mountains, blow through the valley, but it creates a lot of turbulence between when those fronts meet, that the cold weather and the warm weather, it creates a lot of turbulence, which is the wind and all of that. So it's pretty common, especially this time of year. We also see it in the winter. Pardon me, I'm still getting over this cold. This bugger wants to hang on. We'll see it a lot of times in the winter, but same thing. We'll get a cold front come in from Canada, and it'll just set in this basin. I'm not sure if you're familiar, I've kind of mentioned it before, but we have the Zorka Beartooth Mountains to the west, and over on the right we have the Bighorn Mountains, both part of the Rocky Mountains, but there's a pretty good basin between the two that's probably, 50 miles wide right here. So what happens is that weather, whatever temperatures we get, kind of gets trapped in between those two large mountain ranges right there, and it'll just set in that area. You'll see it in the summertime. We'll get smoke. It'll blow in from the west or north, wherever it's coming from, and it'll set in here. And man, it'll just be terrible until we get a good wind to kind of blow it out of here. So it's not uncommon at all for us. It just makes recording videos really difficult. I'm sitting here in the truck looking at the calves. They've all been fed and they look really good. They're all out there just kind of laying down. They're trying to stay out of the wind just as much as we are. They've got a building that kind of blocks them right there. I'm sure you've seen it in some of the other videos, but they'll kind of nestle up next to it, and they kind of blocks the wind, keeps them out of the wind. But overall, wind or weather doesn't affect animals nearly as much as we do. They live in it all the time, so it doesn't have the same effect on them that it does me. Me. So anyway, I've sat here and talked enough. I really do need to get this pump out here, get these guys some water, check on everybody. I'll probably give the cow-calf some grain. I'm not going to give everybody grain just because it's so miserable outside. But I'll probably give her some grain because it's been a little while. Make sure her and the calf are well maintained here. They're doing the same thing. They're laying down kind of tucked in there so that they're out of the weather. So anyway, let's get to work. All right, I'm going to have to get a little creative today. I'm sorry about the noise. I can't stop the wind, obviously, but we're going to get a little creative today with the videoing, trying to hope it stays there in the truck. Luckily right now we don't have to unplug the water heaters anymore. It's been warm enough that nothing's freezing. So we constantly have power out there. I don't have to forget and leave something. Sure enough, this time of year in particular, I'll end up leaving something unplugged, but we're in good shape right now. So while I was gone, Dave made a couple changes to the pump, which are really advantageous. It's been really nice. So that makes it quite a bit easier to prime and that kind of thing. This pump has been really a huge asset, and I'll probably have to thank Christy again today, because boy, it's really made a world of difference. Dave has kind of got this set up so it deploys a heck of a lot easier. I was fighting every day kind of the twists, and with this hose, boy, just a small kink and it shuts off, or it really slows down the rate of the pump. So he kind of devised a way to roll it so that it's not nearly as difficult as it had been. I'm not really going to be able to show you today how he's got it deployed, simply because of the wind. It's with the wind as bad as it is right now, it's probably going to blow this hose because it's so light. So I'm not going to be able to really show you today, but in the next couple of days, when it's not so bad, I'll show you how we've got this thing deployed. This hose is just pretty light, so it makes it tough, and we've got it in a big bucket, and if I put that bucket too much in the wind, it's going to take off and it'll be in Nebraska. We still have to prime it, but he replumbed it a little bit so that we've got a valve on top, which makes it a heck of a lot easier. And he's put a T in there so that the water will come off the side rather than having to kind of tip the pump over, because it was creating a kink. With it like this, it's a heck of a lot easier. Now we should start sucking water. There we go, and should start flowing here right now. All right, there it goes. Now we'll see these twists like this one here. Put this cap back on. This twist right here will kind of slow things down, but I'll just have to go along and sort it out as we go, because it's like say when it's dry, the wind will blow it away so easily. So we're in pretty good shape. Oh, let's see. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oops. All right, there we go. All right, getting that bugger filling. While it's filling, what I'll do is I'll turn the truck so I can see the tank, and we'll get out of this weather and just kind of watch from the truck. There is not a lot of fun just standing out here in the wind, that's for sure. While I wait, rather than giving the cow calf some grain later, some pellets later, I've got about 4 bags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 of them in our trash can here. I've got our scoop that's here. Then I'll give her a couple of good scoops, and then that'll be done. I'll turn the truck around. By then the tank ought to be about, I don't know, half full, and continue moving forward. All right, there's going to be some movement in the camera. I know that. It's going to be a little noisy as well, but you're just along for the ride with the wind today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this trash can down here so we have better access to it, but the cows are still not able to get into it, because what's happened is the bull has figured out how to knock this thing down and get into whatever grain is available. So I'm gonna put this here. He won't have access to it, but we will have access. These bags of grain will hold it down real good and keep it steady. It won't blow away now. Oh, kids. Boy, those kids there, a few minutes ago, they were resting quietly, no problems at all. They hear the rustle of those bags and they're quite sure it's time to be fed. They're kind of spoiled, those guys. All right, throw this last one in. We don't throw our trash out. We gather it up and take it with us. All right. Got our scoop. Hi, Mama. She's pretty sure that this is a great idea. All right, we'll give her a couple scoops of each. I know I've mentioned this before, but this is a pellet. It's got some minerals, protein in it, different things, but it's also a sweet feed. So it's got a little bit of molasses and different things. The molasses kind of attracts them to it, helps them decide that, yep, it's a good thing to eat. Additionally, it'll warm them up a little bit, both in the digestion process and the molasses because of the extra calories. And it's not something I give all the time, but it's something I give, especially to the mama here, regularly enough that it's beneficial for them. She's going through quite a few more calories than everybody else because she's feeding that baby. So not only is she growing, still trying to get larger because she's not quite 2 years old yet. Additionally, she's trying to produce milk, which takes a lot of energy. And that calf, I'm not sure if we'll get a look at her here in a minute. I'm sure she'll come over for us. That calf is getting pretty big pretty quickly, so it's drinking a lot of milk, and she's got to produce all that milk. So we try to make sure we give this to her regularly, a couple times a week, 2-3 times a week. There you go, babe. There you go, Mama. There you go. All right. There you go, babe. There's that calf. You can see as she's getting older, you can see she's eating more frequently. She's eating hay in conjunction with, see, we'll turn this a little bit so you can see Mama and baby. There's that calf. Sorry about the movement of the camera. Try to hold it a little still. But you can see that calf's getting pretty large there. She's doing really well. Really well. It's going to be nice. We'll get her turned out here pretty quick. We'll get all these animals in. We'll get them all vaccinated and treated for different things. We'll get all the heifers out. While we got the heifers in, we're going to try to get them bangs vaccinated, get the vet out here, get them bangs vaccinated so they're taken care of. And then get everybody treated, and the only ones we'll be keeping in is the bigger steer and the bull calves and the bull. So those will be all we keep. It'll be a heck of a lot easier to only feed 3 bulls and the steer. It'll be a heck of a lot easier. Feed will last a lot longer, water will last a lot longer, everything will last a lot longer. It's getting warm enough now that we can turn the irrigation water on. So Dave has got, pardon me, Dave has got the irrigation water on already. So we got water in the ditches so we don't have to water the cows anymore. Additionally, they've got access to the creek here. But we're about to kind of close them off into the northern pasture here pretty quick, especially as things start greening up. We'll kind of block them in so that they're only in that one area, and then the other areas will be allowed to grow The grass will get taller in these areas, and then what we'll do is we'll kind of rotate them through the 3 different pastures here. So it'll be a heck of a lot easier. So anyway, I'm going to shut this off. We're going to get turned around and we'll go check the water tank. With this new pump, boy, it sure makes short work of filling up these tanks. That's a heck of a lot nicer. So much faster. What a nice. And just like that, we're done. Fantastic. What we'll do is we'll kill the pump here, pop off the discharge line, let it drain. We'll pull it from that other end, but we can't leave it long like that because it will all siphon back out right here on the ground. We don't want that, that's for sure. So we'll take the suction out. We'll open up the stop valve. We will open those. We'll keep this bugger up. We'll unplug that. So we don't want these to drain. We'll bring them back. Drop the pump there. We're going to first, before we do anything else, we're going to pull this hose out of the tank so it doesn't siphon back. Because sure enough, that's what it'll do. Now we will throw in the discharge line into our bucket. There we go. Keeping that end up. Throw that in the truck. Throw our pump back in the truck. We'll start draining this line back toward the creek. And I'm going to stretch it out a little bit this direction so I got more room. You can't see me, I know. We'll stretch it back out to the north so you could at least have an idea of what I'm talking about. That way it'll drain easier and we can stretch it. I'm not going to try to drain all of it right now. Just going to drain enough that we can get this thing started rolling up. Reason being is if I drain it all the way, the hose gets light enough that it's going to blow into the creek. So I'm going to leave a little bit of water in there. That water weight will keep it in place. Now, going to keep a hold of our bucket. I am sorry about the noise today. That wind has been just a bugger. I know that. It's not a lot I can do about the wind though. You can hear the calves. They're still quite sure they need some grain. They heard some pellets. They heard that they heard the grain bags or the pellet bags. And so if I say grain, it's just because it's an old habit. I used to give just grain all the time, and sometimes we do just give grains, whether that be cob. If I ever say cob, that means corn, oats, and barley. Those are all just kind of grains, and that's kind of what we typically will give them. That or these pellets. Pellets are basically a corn, oat, barley mix that they've ground and put into a pellet form. So it is a grain, but it's in a pellet form. So that's what I mean when I say the grain. So if I say grains, you'll just know that it means either pellets or grain or something along those lines. Generally, if I give them something different, I will try to differentiate, but I can't always remember. You can see this thing as it gets flat right here, it catches a little bit of wind, and that wind tries to blow it, and it'll take it out of my hand and blow it into the creek, which is right over there. It's kind of a strange wind. It's kind of coming out of the southwest right now, which is not very common for us, but it's that's what's blowing in. That warm wind is coming from the south rather than our north. If it were coming from the north, most of the time it would be blown in a cold wind. So anyway, that's what it's like. Take care of these guys in the wind. Hope you guys have a great day. If you got anything out of this video, if you laughed at my suffering in the wind, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I look forward to it. Thank you very much. Have a great day.